Awesome. And without further ado, I'm excited to introduce you to today's instructor, who is Julia Becker Collins.
Thank you, Sam. So as Sam said, I'm Julia Becker Collins, and today we are going to talk about Instagram for business, and this is a two-part session. So we are not going to cover everything today. So I'm going to do a quick review on what we're going to cover today, and then I'm going to do a quick review on what we're going to cover in the next session. And Sam, if you can drop the link into the session number 2 registration into the chat, so everybody knows to register for that session as well. That would be great. It really is so much content that we had to break it up into 2 sessions. And it's also kind of a lot to absorb. It's just like, oh my God, this is so much information. I have so many questions. So we tried to really break it down into 2 separate sessions. If you haven't already, definitely introduce yourself in the chat. Say hi, say the name of your business, and where you're from, and the number 1 question you're hoping to get answered today. We are going to do some Q&A at the end, but we are definitely going to review some information about a bunch of different parts about Instagram today. And then in the second session, we're going to do a deeper dive on a lot of things. So the way we're going to go through things today is I'm going to give you an overview on me and the company I run, kind of what we're going to talk about today, kind of some high level things. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift and I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see more visuals. Because what we've learned over doing a number of these webinars is that this is a really challenging topic if you have questions, and that a lot of people are visual learners. And so I want to give you all the tools so that you can really understand what I'm talking about. So that's what we're going to try to do today. So let's kick things off. Just a quick introduction. Like we said earlier, I'm Julia Becker Collins. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Vision Advertising. Before the pandemic, we were based in Westborough, Massachusetts, and now we are entirely remote. This is my home office. We have been working with clients all over New England and really all nationally for 23 years. We are entirely 100% women-owned and run. We also have a West Coast office, and we have an office in Florida. And everybody that is on our team is a subject matter expert rather than a generalist, because I really believe that the person who is coding your website really needs to be different than the person who's working on Instagram for your food business, because they're 2 very different parts of your brain. So we have a variety of subject matter experts on the team who work with our clients, who range from service professionals, law firms, insurance agencies, restaurants, kind of really the full gamut, B2B and B2C. I have been with the agency for almost 6 years. Prior to joining Vision Advertising, I was with nonprofits doing fundraising, event planning, and marketing for over 10 years, and that was in Boston. And then I was in another agency doing marketing as well. So I have really seen the full gamut of marketing from teeny tiny nonprofit to incredibly large corporate. The way that we have things structured at Vision Advertising is the buck really stops with me. The whole team reports to me. I create strategy for our clients. I work directly with our clients on figuring out what works best for them based on their budgets, based on their needs, and based on their goals. And then my team executes those plans for them. And I get to have great conversations with people like this one. So in addition to being with the company for almost 6 years at this point, I'm also Worcester Business Journal 40 Under 40 award winner. And the agency has won for, this is the 5th year in a row, a top 10 marketing agency award from the Worcester Business Journal. And we're hoping this will be our 3rd year in a row winning a top 50 women-owned business award. So very exciting things. So that's just some high level information about us and who we are and the work that we've done. A couple quick metrics about the work that we do with our clients. We do a lot of work with social media. We really are a full service marketing agency. And I like to say that if it smells like marketing, we do it. And that includes full service social media marketing and management. So really everything from content creation to management of an entire profile, creating the profile for a business, taking over the profile for the business, watching the entire life cycle of a post, etc. Photography, videography, really everything that's needed for social media. So some metrics, just to give you a sense of things. 4.3 million Facebook views for 1 year and one client working with us. And the average increase of social media engagement for a client working with us is 323% increase. So just a couple quick metrics there. So let's dive into what we're going to talk about today, which, like we said, is Instagram for Business, which is why you're all here. So I'm going to kind of review very high level of everything we're going to go through today. And then I'm going to explain what we're going to go through in the next session. So you know kind of how things are categorized. So if I say, hey, we're actually going to save that question for next time, that's why. So today we're going to do an overall intro on Instagram. We're going to talk about the different types of accounts that are available, because this was a very big question that came up the last webinar I did with CWE. There's a lot of confusion, and it's just a big question that's come up overall in the past few years about, well, what's the difference between a personal account and a business account and a creator account? Which account should I have? Which meets my needs? How do I switch between the accounts, etc.? So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to do an overview of the different features. So what do I mean by features? Posts, stories, reels, Instagram TV, and lives, which can be confusing, right? Because which is a story, which is a reel, why is that a reel? Is it a post, et cetera, et cetera? How does it benefit you? What should you be doing, et cetera? Okay, so that's what we're covering today. Next time, we're going to discuss a deeper dive on those features. We're also going to talk about how to increase engagement. So likes, comments, shares, saves, story replies, kind of all of those things. So everything we're talking about today, what happens when people interact with all of those things, what to do about it, how do you increase engagement, what is engagement, why is it important? We're going to talk about hashtags, and we're going to talk about linking your Facebook and your Instagram accounts for business or personal. Why would you do that? What's the benefit? Why wouldn't you do that, etc.? So that is the next session. And I saw that Sam put the link in the chat to register for it. And I really recommend that you do, so you get that follow-up. Okay, so those are the big things we're going to talk about today. So if you haven't done so already, I see everybody's introducing themselves in the chat, which is great. The other thing you guys can be doing is sharing your Instagram handles. So if you already have an Instagram for your business, go ahead and share that in the chat, because it would be great if everybody starts following each other, so that between this session and the next session, you can see how the other people in the class are putting things into use. And you can get excited about what other people are doing, and you can learn from them. It's also really great when you start getting more followers on your Instagram account, because the Instagram algorithm really loves it when you have an increase in those followers. And who doesn't want more followers, so you have more eyeballs on that account? So that is a really great way to do that. So, and I will include our handle as well. You're all going to get this slide deck that I'm looking at right now, but I'm going to switch over to share with you. Sam's going to send that out to you. So our Instagram handle for Vision Advertising is @Vision Advertising Rocks, because we do. And you can find me personally on Instagram at Julia Rivka. That's Julia, R as in Rachel, IVKA. I post a lot about my dog. So if you're excited about that, there you go. So I always talk about that because there's always questions about a personal account versus a business account. So we use my personal account and our business account as the examples of the two things, because I will share things about vision advertising on my personal account, and we'll share things on our business account that I've done personally, but they aren't exact overlapping. So there you go. So that's a good example. So let's dive into Instagram for Business. So give me on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Put it in the chat. What's your comfort level with using Instagram overall? Could be for personal use, could be for business use, could be just to scroll and see videos of dogs being silly, anything. What's your comfort level with using it? This gives me a really great sense of kind of where you guys are with things. And it's, you know, this is a totally safe space. If you say 0, Julia, I am so confused. I don't even have it installed on my phone. That's why I'm here. That is totally okay. But if you're like, I am an expert at watching dog videos, I am a 5. I'm right there with you. I'm also an expert at watching dog videos. It's my favorite thing to do on Instagram. So let me know where you are. Oh, this is a great answer. Comfortable, but never took the time to utilize it. I'm a 4. That's a great answer, Cheryl. I love that. So you can be anywhere in there. Everybody has something to learn. I have something to learn. I always want to learn what's happening with Instagram. They're always changing things. So thinking about where your comfort level is with Instagram overall, now think about what is your comfort level. Again, that 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. What's your comfort level with Instagram for business? And put that into the chat. You can put a little note additionally in there like Cheryl did. You don't have to. What's your thought pattern there? So I'm seeing a lot of 3s. This is great. So there's a little bit of a difference, right? Between your comfort level kind of every day and your comfort level for business. And that is totally normal. So Betsy's saying 3, but not aware of all the newest features. That's a great answer. I love that answer. So all of these answers are fantastic, right? Sometimes we have more of a comfort level or more of an understanding of one of these platforms to just, again, watch dog videos, which again, that's my happy place, then to figure out how to utilize the platform for strategic use for your business. Okay. So we're all kind of in the same place. It can be confusing. You want to learn more. You're not necessarily understanding everything you could be doing. And that's why we're all here. Great. So who is using how many? Let's try it this way. In the chat, if there are 5 weekdays every week, so let's put weekends aside for a second. How many days per week out of those 5 are you posting on Instagram for business right now? Again, this could be 0, this could be 5, this could be, you could be posting 20 times. There's no wrong answer, right? How many times? There's some 0s, there's some 3s, some 2s. These are all great answers. 0, I'm on a hiatus, LOL. That's okay. Good answers. So yeah, 3 posts. These are really good answers. Okay. So the reason I'm asking you guys all of this is because not only does it make you guys understand that there's a general confusion, right, about Instagram for business. It's not this I feel like people think everybody else understands it and you're the one that's sitting there confused. That's not the case. Most people are confused. But in addition to that, there is a high level of confusion about any kind of capital R rules of what you're supposed to do. That's because there are no exact rules of what you're supposed to do. So what we're going to do today is talk about what you can do on the platform. And then in the next session, we're going to talk about how to take everything you can do on the platform and maximize it to make it work for you. Okay, so let's make sure you understand everything on the platform, and then let's make it all do everything it can for you and your business. Okay, so let's dive into it here. So the first thing is, let's think about your profile. So the profile, actually, you know what I'm going to do is, because I want to make sure everybody is on the same page here. So when I was in, I'm older than I look. So when I was in high school a long time ago, I used to be the one that asked all the questions because I was always confused, right? I was like, I don't know what that word means. I don't understand anything. So now that I teach a lot of classes, I always want to make sure that people understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to switch to sharing my screen so that you can see all the visual aids I've provided, because what I don't want to have happen is for you to sit there being like, what is she talking about right now? I don't know what an Instagram profile is. I don't know what a bio is. I want you to understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. And if you have any questions, please, please, please put them in the chat, and I will either answer them while we're discussing that section or later, because again, I really want you to understand what we're talking about. Okay, so give me just 1 second. Get me share screen. Great. Okay, so everyone should be able to see this. Oh, give me just 1 moment. Slideshow from current slide. All right. So what I am going to do is, okay. So Sam, just so you're aware, I can't see the chat while I'm doing this. So if anything comes up,
You got it.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is why I wanted to switch to share my screen. So this is what I mean when I say a profile. And that's why I want you to include a lot of visual aids. So the profile for your Instagram page is this little blurb at the top of your page, right? So this is what it looks like. And I want to start here because I want to make sure that we're all thinking about, what does your Instagram profile look like? Have you taken the time to really maximize the space that's being given to you by Instagram? Do you have an image that reflects your brand? It could be your logo, it could be a photo, but it should be colorful and it should be high quality. You can change it. It doesn't always have to stay the same. We just changed ours out on the Vision advertising page. We went from one part of our brand to another part of the brand, and maybe we'll change it again, but it should be something that fits well within the small circle that's given. You should be including a little blurb about the company in there. And then you should be including some kind of link to either your website or to a link tree. And what do I mean by what a link tree is? A link tree is, it's literally link.tree. I think it's link.tree, but you can Google it. It's a completely free resource for you. There's a paid option, but you do not need to use the paid option that you can set up. And it allows you to create a customized URL for your brand that puts more than one link into a tree, literally a tree. So if you go to my personal Instagram, you'll see that the link in my bio takes you to a link tree. You click on that link and you'll see I have my husband's Boston Marathon fundraising page. There's a link to a podcast recording I just did. There's a link to register for this webinar we're doing right now. There's a link to an upcoming webinar I'm doing in a couple weeks. There's links to past webinars I've done that you can download the recordings of. There's a link to a Worcester Business Journal article I wrote, et cetera, et cetera. So they're all listed right there. My photo is up at the top. You can customize it, include all kinds of information. And you don't have to spend any extra money to have any of that there. You can just create that, and then you don't have to continually update that link in your bio. You can just add things to your link tree over and over again so that you're getting people to the right place continuously. So you want to start by having kind of your home base of your Instagram profile be as maximized and set up for success as possible. So that is the first place to start. So if you do not have an Instagram account, which is totally fine, and we're going to talk in 1 second about which type of Instagram account you should have, whether it's personal, business, or creator. When you create that account, the first thing you want to do is add to your bio. If you already have an Instagram account, you want to make sure that your bio is updated, reflects your current company and your current brand, has everything that you want it to have, and kind of is set up in the best way possible. If you go to the Vision Advertising Instagram account, we have something kind of quirky in there with some emojis, and then we have a link tree link, and it links to things like this. Register for this webinar. Here's a recent blog post. Here's a recent Worcester Business Journal article that Julia wrote. Apply for an open position we have, et cetera, et cetera. So it gives you lots of options, but here is a great place to start to set yourself up for success. Okay, so I saw that we have a hand that's raised, Sam.
So I think, Allison, I think you were the one who had your hand raised, and she wrote it in the chat. How often should you change up your bio, and what is too much?
That's a great question. So there is a limit on how much you can put in there. Instagram will cap you out. I forget how many characters you can have, but it'll say, like, it's just going to stop you from typing at a certain point. I forget what mine has. I think I broke mine, something silly. If you go to my Instagram account, mine's a personal account, but it's just, you know, like, I'm the COO of Vision Advertising, and I'm an endurance athlete, and I'm a rescue mom, and with my dog and my cats, and da da da. Depends on what your goals are. It should be fun, because this is a very fun platform, and it should reflect who you are as a brand. It should be in your brand voice. But I would maximize the space that you have. I think that my profile has used every character they allow. So if you look at the difference between the Vision Advertising profile and my profile, they're set up very differently, but they're both very valid ways to set them up. It just gives you a different perspective of like, oh, okay, this is a much more like corporate way of setting it up, and this is a much more quirky way of setting it up. So neither is correct, but they're both within the bounds of what Instagram allows for and is within the norm of what people are used to reading. What I would say that you definitely should do is include a link. There's a separate line that allows you to put a URL link, and you definitely should do that, because the whole point of this, right? Everything we're doing here for Instagram marketing is to drive sales, right? We want you to make more money. We are trying to help you have a successful business. So we want people to buy the sweater, register for the class, sign up for something that you're promoting, join the email list, whatever it is that you're promoting, you need to be linking directly over to that. So that is why the link tree possibility is really great. So you want to capitalize on what they're giving you there. So unless there's any other questions right here, I'm going to move on.
There's one more.
Right.
So Nyala asked, can you put Linktree and a website?
No, so you can only include one URL here. The way that Instagram is set up is that, and this is, thank you for this question. This is a great question. Instagram does not love URLs or links to things. It only lets you put links to things in two places. One is the designated URL section in your bio. If you put links to anything anywhere else, except for the second place I'm about to tell you, it's just going to put the text in. It's not going to hyperlink over to anything. So you'll see people that have posts on Instagram and it'll be like, and then visit this link, and you can't click on the link because Instagram doesn't hyperlink in any content except for the one spot in your profile. And we're going to talk about this in a minute, in stories, there is a link tool. That's it. So when I say maximize your opportunity to link to things, I am serious about it, because you want people to drive over to where you're having them sign up or selling, etc. Now, if you are selling products, we're going to talk about how you can be selling actively on Instagram in other ways. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But in terms of URLs and hyperlinks, there's only those two opportunities. So in your bio, you only have a chance for one. Any other questions right here?
That's it.
Great. So we are going to move on. So let's talk about the different types of accounts. So when you create your Instagram account, you're going to have a choice between 3 different types of accounts: personal, business, and creator. Creator is a newer type of account that Instagram has created, for lack of a better word, but you can also switch between the different types of accounts. So if you originally started with a personal account, and now after taking the session, you realize, oh my goodness, I should, actually have a business account, that's okay. We're going to talk about switching in a second. So the different types of accounts offer different features. There is not one account type that is better than another, and they just offer different things, but they also offer different downsides. So there's pluses and minuses to all of them. So we're going to go through these, and I am sure there will be questions, but let's get to the end of the account section before we do questions, okay? So if you have questions, put them in the chat, but maybe they'll be answered by the time we finish the account section, okay? So what is the difference between a personal account and a business account? So the biggest difference is that a business account lets you track your engagement and interactions, which is what I always call metrics. So there are no metrics with a personal account. Personal account is what's perfect for scrolling dog videos. And it doesn't matter, you'll see how many people liked your post, but you're not going to know anything about where they're from or what time of day they looked at it. You're not going to know anything about, the reach of who your posts hit, or the demographics, or, how many people clicked on things from your story, or, there's no deeper dive. It's just what's on the surface. And that's kind of it. It really is what it sounds like. It's for personal use. So if you want to post photos of your dog and, that you're a runner, or that you do knitting or whatever, that's really what a personal account is for. You want to share photos with your family, or you don't even want to post anything. You just want to watch the dog videos. That's what a personal account is for. A business account is for when you want to monetize your use on Instagram. Monetize being that you want to make money on it, right? So a business account lets you have all of that information. The other thing is that it allows you to actually turn your account into almost a storefront so that you can create a place where people can conduct transactions in your account. And we're going to go into this in a little bit. It only works for certain things. Your website has to be set up a certain way. There's a lot of other things at play here, but that only works with a business account. So if you, like I said here, if you use Instagram to find inspiration and connect with friends and family, you only need a personal account. But if you are really trying to, bring in money, drive engagement, sell a product. So a product is something that you can touch, taste, feel, order, and have it delivered to you in a package. It's a sweater, it's a computer, it's a water bottle, right? A product, not a service. A service is a haircut, a service is marketing, a service is therapy, a service is something that doesn't have a physical presence to it. So I'm talking about products only. Selling products can be really great on Instagram. Selling services is a little bit more tricky. So let's keep going with the differences. So what does a personal account allow you to do? Personal account lets you post content. You can see all those dog videos. You can set your account to be private. And this is a big thing because all business accounts are public. So if you choose a business account, you're automatically choosing that your account is public. And that means it's searchable and you can find it. Somebody else can find it and everybody can see everything. Because the whole purpose of a business account is that you want the most people to see what is happening with your posts because you want to make money, right? But if you have a personal account, maybe you don't want people to see what's happening and you want to approve people before they can follow you. So it's kind of the two ends of the spectrum. And the whole purpose of a business account is really so that you have that larger brand exposure. So this is what some of the metrics look like for a business account. It's a little bit grainy, I apologize, but it gives you a sense of things for what it looks like when you're looking at those insights or you're looking at those metrics for, again, a business account. So what is why would I choose that? What information is it going to give me? Okay, so I want to know who my followers are because I want to know who I'm selling to and who's listening to me. I want to know who I'm reaching, so that I can really make sure that I'm reaching the right people. I want to make sure that, who wants to buy my product or who is, my product is really made for. I want to make sure that my account is reaching the right people, or is my messaging reaching the right people, or I didn't realize my messaging was reaching a larger group of people than I thought it was going to, et cetera, et cetera. This gives you all of that information. So you can see here, it shows you the breakdown between men and women. Unfortunately, Instagram doesn't understand that there are more genders than that, but we're going to roll with it. So they break it down by age range and they break it down by location as well. And this is just the screen that you would see for followers. There is far more information than this. You can see locations, you can see time of day. There's a ton of information. If you have a Facebook business page, you know that there is a lot of information available there under insights as well. And it's very similar, right? The data is very, very helpful. So this gives you a sense of things, of what metrics you end up with and what data you can end up with when you have a business account. So here's some more information. So what else can you be doing with a business account? You can boost posts. So what does that mean? So if you already have an Instagram account, things that you might be seeing in your feed are things called sponsored posts. So you'll see a post from a business that you don't necessarily follow, or an account you don't necessarily follow, or maybe you do follow them, and you'll see underneath the name of the business in the feed, it'll say sponsored, where you would normally see the location. And that is because that somebody has spent some amount of money to boost that post, to increase the reach of the post to more than just would see it while they scroll through their feed. They want it to be to the top of the feed. They want more people to interact with it, etc. You can boost things into people's story feeds. You can boost things into their general feed. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. And you can do that with a business account. You cannot do that with a personal account. There is also a contact button in the profile. So we were talking about profile earlier. In addition to having that URL section and that larger little bio area, there is also a button that says contact, and that allows you, the profile owner, to put in some kind of contact information. So when they, when they hit contact, it calls you or it emails you, etc., whatever you want to set up there, so that they can contact you in another way. It allows you to set up, quote, quick replies. It's a way of having kind of these canned replies. So if somebody messages you what Instagram calls direct messages, or as the kids say, DMs. So when they message you, you could have kind of these canned replies because you're so busy, you don't always have time to send this kind of longer reply, but you want people to feel really appreciated for the message. So you could say something like, you know, what it's saying here, thank you for business. Thank you for your business. We look forward to talking to you soon. You can put in a quick reply of whatever your flat rate shipping is. You could put in a quick reply of what your contact information is, et cetera, et cetera. You know, answers to common questions that you get. If you're hiring and you're getting a lot of questions about the job that you're hiring for, you could put in those standard answers so you have them just ready at a fingertip, et cetera. It also allows you to categorize your inbox. So you can see on the left-hand side of this image, it shows inbox, unread, and starred. So if you're reading through your inbox and you're like, oh, that's a great question that this person's answering, except I need to get back to it later, you can now have it, move it around in your inbox so you can get back to it later. You can also change around your inbox to have different categorizations in general, so that you have a better sense of which message is in which inbox, whether it's priority or not. And so this gives you a better sense of things in general. It just allows you to organize this part of your life better than a personal account would, because it's made for business. So let's move on. So I had mentioned earlier that a business account allows you to create something of a storefront where people can act upon the desire to purchase things directly from you, to conduct a transaction right in your Instagram profile. And this is what it looks like. So if you have an Instagram account now and you've ever seen the little logo or the little icon on items in business accounts, and then you kind of like tap on the image and you realize, oh, I can link directly over to this and buy it right in the app. It is a newer feature in the past few years with Instagram, but you can set your business account up to be a storefront to purchase products. So this example, this image is a product, it's luggage. This has to be linked directly to an e-commerce website. Most people have this set up with a Shopify website, so that Shopify and Instagram can talk to each other really well. I know a lot of people that have done this have had really good success with linking their Shopify website directly to Instagram. so that one can talk to the other. That way you don't have to worry about, did I sell something that is actually not in stock, et cetera, because you're selling both on your website and on Instagram. You want everything to communicate really well. And Instagram shopping does require you have an e-commerce website already. And Instagram has it set up so that if you, the consumer, want to purchase directly in the app, you can put all of your information in the app and purchase directly in the app without leaving the app at all. You never go on to the business's website, and the transaction is the same for you. You're charged the same. Everything ends up the same. I've done it. It's great. And then you get all your notifications from Instagram. Everything ships exactly the same. It's fantastic. It also gives you the option to be like, okay, I actually want to go on the company's website to purchase this. That's fine as well. You're giving the consumer multiple options to reach the product you want to sell them, which is always the goal. You want to meet them where they are. So a business account allows you to do this if you are selling a product that is set up or will be set up on an e-commerce website. So this is just another example. And I know this can be overwhelming and confusing, but this is an example of a reason to have a business account. If you are thinking about founding a business or in the process of founding a business where this is a possibility of something you might want to do in the future, this is a reason to have a business account. Okay. So one of the things I had said earlier was, well, what do you do if you currently have a personal account and you want to switch to a business account? Or what if you currently have a creator account, and we're going to talk about creator accounts in a second, and you want to switch to a business account? These are the steps that you follow. This is very easy. And like I said at the beginning, you're going to get this whole slide deck. Sam will send it out to you. So you can take a photo of it now, whatever you want to do, but you'll also get it in the slide deck. So don't worry. It is very easy to switch between accounts. My personal account was a personal account. It's now a creator account. I'm going to walk you through that in a second. And it was a very seamless process. Okay. So let's talk about creator accounts. So this question comes up all the time. So which account should I be? I have a personal account and now I'm getting notifications from Instagram that, I have X number of followers. It's usually accounts with a high follower number. And Instagram's telling me that I should be a creator account because I have a lot of followers, or I heard somebody else has a creator account. Should I do that? I don't really understand what it means. I think a lot of people have a better understanding of the difference between personal and business because of the names, right? Personal is for personal use, watching dog videos. Business is for business use. You want to sell luggage, etc., right? Those are really clear ideas. Creator accounts are kind of like this gray area that people don't understand as well. So let's explain that. So it really is this in-between area between personal and business in terms of what the account can do and what it means. So let's talk about the benefits and let's talk about what it can't do. So it does give you insights. So you do see metrics where you can't see metrics at all on a personal account, but you can only see metrics for the past 7 days. You can't do that deep dive we talked about earlier. That's not available to you. You do get a separated inbox, but you only separate it into general and primary. You can't read something and then be like, actually, I want to mark this as unread so I can come back to it later. You can only do that on a business account. You can only, on a creator account, you can just have the streamlined inboxes. You do have the option to have a contact button, which is great. So if you're a content creator or you're a photographer or something where you're like, yes, I need something that's kind of a step up from personal, but not really a business account, this is a great option for you. and you can include that contact button. And this does allow you in your profile to have some kind of professional designation under your name. So if you've seen people on Instagram that say they're, content creator, or they're, anything else like that as their title in Instagram under their name, they most likely have a creator account. But you don't have to have a contact button, and you don't have to have that account type or job title or creator type listed. You can present the account as a personal account, but have the functionality of this kind of middle of the road account. So if you're like me and you run a business, but you have a personal account, sometimes it's helpful to see the insights, because I post about vision advertising sometimes on my personal account, and I want to see who is clicking on those links and what traffic that's driving. And sometimes Katrina, who works for me, she and I have conversations about, okay, so is it going to be more advantageous if I post this on my personal account versus on the business account? Let's look at the metrics. So that's why I've changed my account, so I can see, where is the traffic coming from? So that could be a great in-between place for you. Okay. So think about the bottom line of this. So a business account offers more analytics. It offers you the opportunity to have your account as a storefront. And it really sets up your account to be public and get more exposure. That's a business account. A personal account, is really for personal use. A personal account is for staying in touch with people, scrolling dog videos, etc. You want to do zero business. And a creator account is really somewhere in the middle. You want a little bit of information. You don't plan to do any kind of monetization with a storefront, and you need some access to a little bit of some more tools, really. That's about it. That's the difference between the three accounts. And yes, you can take a personal account and move it to a business account. You can take a personal account and move it to a creator account. So those are kind of like the high level differences between the two, between the three. So yeah. Okay. Questions about accounts?
There are some questions.
Oh boy.
So Allison asked, does Instagram require a personal account in order to set up a business account, or can you just create a business account and skip the personal account?
Great question. This is a big difference from Facebook. So Facebook does require you to have a personal account, which I know is very annoying to people. Instagram does not. Instagram does not require you to have a personal account. You can just have a business account, which I think is great.
Amen. And then I love that.
Me too.
Lynn asked, is there a charge for a business or a creator account?
There is no charge. Nope, no charge.
And then Linda asked, like a Facebook business page, do posts on a business Instagram page only show up on a small percentage of your followers' feeds? And then in parentheses, she put to encourage boosting.
That is a great question, and kind of like the $5 million question. So I will tell you what I think, and then I will tell you what we tell our clients. So I think that they don't show up as many. So business posts. So if you have a business account, I think they don't show it as much, but I can't prove it. It's an algorithm. It's proprietary. I'm the shrugging emoji right now. I will say this. Instagram is not as bad as Facebook on that whole thing. It really isn't. Instagram gets money in all kinds of other ways. They monetized the platform very differently than Facebook did. Facebook, if you don't really understand the question, what it means is that Facebook really suppresses and doesn't show business posts as much from business pages because they want the businesses to spend money to boost the posts to get it in front of people, which is why people hate having business pages on Facebook. Well, one of the 7 million reasons people hate it. Instagram, I think, does that a little, but it's not even close to the extent. The thing with Instagram is that the more you interact with a page, and it could be a business page, a creator page, or a personal page, the more you see the content. That's really how the algorithm is working these days. But they're going to change the algorithm. The algorithm on Instagram changes all the time. The one big thing is that Instagram loves video. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. So if you have a business page and you're worried about people seeing things, video all the time. That is like the big thing we tell our clients. And we are going to dive into that. So I'm not going to answer that one exactly right now.
And then Cheryl and Nyala have similar questions. So I'm just going to read both of them. So the first one, I like the creator account for me. How would I change over? And then Nyala's question was, can I change to a content creator account if my following is low?
Those are great questions. So I think so. I believe, and I can send Sam information after this, I believe you can switch no matter what your follower level is. I believe, and again, they change this all the time. I believe they send out invitations to personal accounts that have hit a certain level. Like I think it's over 1,000 followers or something like that. I don't know. And they encourage you to switch because they think that you're monetizing or they think that you're going to monetize. I have no idea. If I could understand the logic behind any of these businesses, I'd be a billionaire. But I believe that you can force the change behind the scenes. I'm relatively certain of that, but I can follow up and send the information to Sam.
Perfect. And that was the last question. So we're good.
Great. Okay, let's move on to features. So we're going to talk about posts, stories, lives, IGTV, and reels. And the one big thing I want to make sure we're saying here is update your app. I'm definitely guilty of forgetting to update my app. I'm definitely guilty of forgetting to update my operating system on my phone. I've gotten a lot of reminders recently, but update your Instagram app. You could do it right now. You're going to get the most bang for your buck on everything you're doing on the platform when you have the most updated version of it. There's all kinds of new funky things they come up with. And I mean that in the best way. It's new fun stuff that they have that you are not seeing because you're not updating your app. So update the app before you start doing any of this. Some of these features, not that exciting, but we're going to go through them. Some of these features, very exciting. So we're going to go through them. But the overall big theme here is post often, videos are best. Those are your kind of the rules. So one of the big questions we got last time, and when I say last time, we did a webinar. I think it was like a general social media webinar. It might have been like a 101. And one of the big questions we got about Instagram was, what's the difference between a post and a reel and a TV and a live and a, so that's why we're breaking it all down, because it's confusing. So this is what a post is. So when we talk about the feed, it's kind of the same idea on Facebook or really on LinkedIn or on anything. It's when you're scrolling, that's the feed. When we talk about the grid on Instagram, it's when you're on a page. So it could be your page, it could be a business's page, it could be an individual's page, it could be your favorite dog video page. When you're on the page, you will see what really looks like a grid. And it's these squares. And so when somebody says, I'm putting this on the grid, what they're saying is, I'm creating a post for this because I want to find a permanent place for it in my Instagram profile. So the grid is what has all your posts. There are multiple things that can be a post, and we're going to talk about that. And that is different than a story or a live. Okay. So posts, you can geotag your location. People do silly things. I've had things that say I'm on the struggle bus rather than I'm in Boston. So you don't have to be super serious, but you can also geotag your business if you have a physical location over and over again. The other nice thing is that, say you have a restaurant, or I saw somebody said they have a food truck or they're starting a food truck, you can create geotags for your location and people can geotag your business, and then you can search that geotag and find those posts that people are posting about your business. It works really well for like food businesses or brick and mortar businesses. And then you can see what's happening and what other people are posting about you and your business. In the posts, you can tag businesses, you can tag individuals, you can tag creators, all as long as their accounts allow them to be tagged. These are all in your settings, whether or not you want to be tagged or not tagged. Every post requires some kind of image, whether that be a static image or a video. This is one of the big differentiators on Instagram versus other platforms, is it requires something visual. It doesn't require a caption, but it does require a visual aid. It appears in your feed when you create a post. Posts can be shared to your story. So if you see on the left-hand side of the image, it shows that there is, at the bottom of the image, it shows a heart and then what looks like a talking bubble and then an arrow. So the arrow is where you can share something. Then you can send it to somebody that you're friends with on Instagram, or you can share it to your own story. And we're going to talk about increasing engagement in session number 2. And I really encourage you guys to sign up for that one if you haven't. But sharing posts to your own story is another great way to increase engagement. You can include a caption and a hashtag in your post. And there are 40 filters that are already loaded into Instagram for photos and videos. So let's move on. So I'm going to do Q&A at the end of the features section. So if you do have questions, definitely put them into the chat, and I can see we're getting more questions, which is great. So let's talk about lives. So Instagram Live is similar to Facebook, but it is also different than Facebook. So the image you're seeing is what an Instagram Live ends up looking like. You face your phone towards yourself, you talk into the phone, you could dance, you could have a conversation, you can invite people to join the live. People are going to leave comments, they're going to like it, etc. And you can see all of that while you're in the live session. Followers of your page, assuming it's a business page or a creator page or even a personal page, they get a notification at the top of their Instagram screen that says that you've gone live, which is great because you really want that increased engagement and you want people to be excited about what you're doing. They can comment on it in real time, they can like it, etc. It's another great way to interact with your followers, and you can schedule it in advance. And I'll show you when we talk about stories how you can tell people that you're going to go live, and you can create a countdown so people can set an alarm. One of the tricky things about going live is that the live video does not, I'm going to repeat this, the live video does not automatically save to your page. You get one opportunity to save your live video after you are done. You're going to get one prompt when you are done with your live video, and it will ask you if you want to save the video to your phone. So make sure you have enough storage on your phone, and make sure your app is updated, and you can save it to your phone's camera roll. That's your only opportunity to save a live video. And then once you have saved the live video, you can convert the live video into an IGTV. You can upload it as a post. So you can take something you've already done and convert it into another way that people can interact with you. It doesn't just die when you're done with your live. You don't have to do that, but it's a really great way to reuse content you've already created. So what is IGTV? So IGTV was originally created as a separate app that was, I think they were trying to compete against streaming services like Netflix, etc., hence the TV aspect of it. But it's really at this point integrated entirely into Instagram. And you'll see when you go to add something, so you go to create a post, it'll say, do you want to do a post? Do you want to do an IGTV? This is what the logo looks like. Do you want to do a reel? Do you want to do a, what do you want to add right now? And so this is the logo for IGTV. Really what it is do you want to add a video to your feed as a post that is longer than what is available as just a regular post? So from your phone, you can upload a video that is 1 minute to 15 minutes long. From your computer, your desktop, you can upload a video that is up to 60 minutes long. But keep in mind, most people don't watch videos that long. So you need to think about what is the return on your investment of spending that much time uploading a video that long. So if you do a live that is 10 minutes long, there's a ton of engagement, or you're doing a lot of information sharing, or you're talking about an upcoming conference, or you have a special sale coming up, et cetera, and you really want to share that information because you felt like it went really well, or you did a live with another content contributor, and that was, again, with that 1 to 15 minute range, or maybe it's a little bit longer, maybe it's half an hour, you can download it and share it as an IGTV, and then people can decide if they want to watch that longer video. This is the way that you're able to share those longer videos, okay? So one of the biggest questions I often get is, I don't understand stories. What's the stories thing? What's the purpose of stories? Where do you find stories? Is it the same as Facebook? What's the deal here? So the image you see on the right-hand side is where stories are. They're the circle images at the top of the feed for Instagram. On the left of that top feed, so the left side of this image, you'll always see yourself. And then there's always a long line of anybody you follow and any of the stories that they've updated. And it'll have a ring around the logo or the image for that account if they have a story. So you can upload as many as you want over the course of a day. If you go to my account, you'll see I have plenty of things uploaded today. They're probably sarcastic. They could be about my dog. They could be about today's webinar. They could be about work. They could, who knows, right? All kinds of things about my day. If you go to our Vision advertising page, there's probably 1, maybe 2 today, mostly about today's webinar. They are only viewable for 24 hours, and they can be viewed as many times as you want within the 24 hours. They are either a video clip that's up to 15 seconds long or a still image, and you can add as many as you want or as few as you want. There is a feature at the bottom of every story where somebody can send you a direct message in response to the story. They can also, a newer feature that I think came out with the last update of the app, is people can now like your stories. There's a little heart on the bottom right-hand corner of your story that allows people to like it, which is another way to increase engagement, which is great. You can also see if you have a creator or a business account on the bottom left-hand corner of every story that you put up, you'll see a little circle. And then if you click on that circle, it'll give you the metrics for your stories. It'll say 115 people watched it. And then you can click on the graph bar and it'll say, oh, 35% women, et cetera, et cetera. You'll get different metrics depending on if it's a business account or a creator account. It'll tell you if people clicked on any links that are in there, or if they visited your profile, if they exited out of your story, or if they went forward in your story, etc. So what else can you do with stories? Here is where you can really maximize this tool. So you don't only have to put in static images or videos, you can layer things on top of that. So there's at the top, you'll see tools where you can add in things into your stories. So these are some of the areas where you can add things in. You can add in a location, you can add in questions. I mentioned earlier, you could add in a countdown that creates a timer for people. You could say, I'm going to go live on this day at this time. Here's the countdown. And then it allows people to have an alarm set on their phone saying, you know, Joe's going live. I don't want to miss it. And so Instagram will notify them when that's happening. You can create a poll. You can mention other accounts so that they can share your story. If you mention other accounts in your story, it allows those accounts to share your story. And then there's also one of the newest things that's available, again, why you should be updating your app, is another tool that's available in stories is to add a link. This is available to all different accounts. This used to only be available to accounts that had 10,000 or more followers. Maybe you heard about kind of that really desired number. You wish you had 10,000 or more followers, so you got that swipe up feature so people could link directly to a website so they could purchase things or go to an article. That is no longer the case. Now you can link directly to things in your stories. If you go to my story today, you'll see there's a number of things about my husband's running the Boston Marathon in a few weeks. And so I'm linking directly to his fundraising page. And I have raised $1,000 in just a few days by doing so. It really works. So you want to have the fewest steps possible for people to get to do whatever you're wanting them to do, which is why that link tool is so great. And we had that question earlier about where can you include a website or a link tree, etc. This is the only other place on Instagram where you can include a hyperlink and it will work. So this is a really great tool. Since the pandemic, the amount of time people are spending on stories alone, viewing stories, has dramatically increased. Sometimes people are only viewing stories because people's attention spans have gone down, but at the same time, the amount of people and time being spent on Instagram specifically has gone dramatically up. So do not forget about stories when you're thinking about Instagram as a tool for business. And don't forget that anything you're putting here really does disappear after 24 hours because it's supposed to, quote, tell the story of your day. Another thing you can be doing, and we're going to talk more about this in the next session, is you can create highlight reels using what you have in your stories. You'll see that on the Vision advertising page, and you'll see that on my page as well. So let's talk about reels. I get this question a lot because it's the newest thing that's come out in Instagram, and people are like, I don't understand it. Isn't it just a video? Why should I be doing reels, etc.? So it's really Instagram's response to TikTok, which is why I was kind of chuckling at the top of the hour when Sam was talking about doing a TikTok webinar. And it's just like, I find TikTok to be confusing in general, but I've come around to reels because they're funny. The big thing to keep in mind with reels is they're short and they're supposed to be fun and entertaining. These are not big, serious things. If you want big, serious, you're looking at Instagram TV. These are short, fun things that are supposed to make somebody laugh. Now, if you want to include something serious, that's what the caption is for. But the video itself is supposed to be quirky. So like, again, dog videos or people running or makeup things or something about your business, etc. There's lots of different ways to capitalize on this. I have reels on my page. We have reels on the Vision advertising page. that are all very fun, but the captions themselves can be kind of all over the place. You could be giving information, you could be trying to get people to register for a webinar like this. You could be just talking about something you're doing. I have a reel that went up a couple of weeks ago that was talking about the first time I learned how to ski. So the reel itself is kind of silly, but then the caption talks about, you know, how much I felt like this is such a big deal to me, and I really wanted to thank the nonprofit that helped me learn to ski, and da 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 da, right? So you can use both sides of that, and that can be really helpful. This ends up showing up as a as a post in your feed, and can be shared to your story. The other great thing about Reels is that because Instagram loves video, and because people in general prefer video over static images, Instagram, the algorithm, for the best that we can understand it, really has been preferring Reels over anything else. So if you have an updated version of the app, you can see when you scroll through your feed that there's now whole sections that are referring you or giving you suggestions of other Reels from accounts that you don't follow based on things you've already watched. And that's not something you're paying for. That's just a way that Instagram is trying to promote this part of their platform. And that's a way that you can get in front of a whole new audience. So we've had Reels from the Vision advertising page. We've had Reels from our clients' pages. I've personally had Reels that did really well initially, and then about 2 weeks later ended up getting featured on one of these sections, where these suggested Reels sections, and then suddenly you have 10,000 views, and they just kind of showed up. So Reels have much longer of a shelf life than most of the posts that are on Instagram, which is really helpful. They definitely take longer to create. They are more of a time investment, but they have a higher ROI. And that is something that we talk to our clients about, that it's really worth it. Okay, so Sam, I think we're going to do some Q&A.
Sounds good. So actually a question just came in. Cheryl asked, would Reels be as simple as uploading the video to my account, or should they be live videos?
So live videos are a totally different thing. So you want to take video itself with your phone, and it could be something short and sweet. I've had a question recently of, does it need to be a certain length? It could be 5 seconds, it could be 10 seconds. And it doesn't have to be anything serious, but you want something that you've kind of already looked at and been like, oh, okay, this is good. This, this represents my brand. And you don't need to overthink it, but you should have already kind of like banked it. One of the tips I always like to give people is, throughout your day, just kind of take some videos and see what you come up with at the end of the day. And then when you sit down to do your it could be your social media work, it could be your Instagram work, whatever you decide to do, be like, oh, actually, this video is super cute. There's 10 seconds in the middle here that is adorable. I'm going to put time in my calendar tomorrow to sit down and make that reel. And you already have the video. A really good example of that is if you go to my Instagram page, there's a reel from 2 months ago of my dog walking in the snow. I took the video when I was taking her for a walk in the morning. I think that video has 10 or 15,000 views on it. And it's just like a silly, I put some words over top of it and I put a song with it, and it just is incredibly popular. But I took the video a few days in advance, and I had it just banked, waiting for me to be like, oh, right, that'd be good for a reel. It's like a silly thing, and it increased engagement. And that's definitely something we're going to talk about next time, about another way you can use Reels to boost engagement going forward.
And then another one, Allison asked, so in relation to IGTV, is this an alternative to YouTube?
Maybe, yes. There's a couple of things. YouTube, I wouldn't sleep on YouTube because YouTube is owned by Google, and Google pretty much owns all of SEO, so search engine optimization. That's how people find you when they search for you online. So if you have YouTube and you have videos on YouTube, it's always good to keep putting them up there because Google wants you to feed the beast, pretty much. But that doesn't mean you can't put things in multiple places. So we have videos that are up on our Vision Advertising YouTube. Our clients have videos that are up on their YouTube pages, but then we also use it on their IGTV, or we also use it on Facebook. There's no rule that says you can't put the same content in multiple places because people are going to find it based on what they're interested in.
And then one more question. How does Instagram manage trolls and bots concerned about negative impact on a business account?
That is a great question. I'm just gonna give me 1 second. There we go. That is a great question. I'm gonna say Instagram is like a lot of big tech and they do an imperfect job. Instagram, yeah, I think it's a really, really good question. And I think that it's a really, really, really big platform that has grown beyond what anybody could imagine. You have to protect your property and you need to protect what is important to you as a business. I have a creator account with under 1,500 followers and I get trolls and bots. They're just out there. So what you need to do is just be mindful about who are you getting message requests from in your DMs. There's a part of the direct message section that says requests. A creator account and a business account will move things into their version of a spam folder, which is really helpful. But then you can also, I really encourage people to use the block function. I really encourage people to delete comments. I really encourage you to be vigilant and not just rely on the platform. We delete comments, we block profiles. It's your profile. You should do what you need to do with it. That's why you need to decide about if business is for you or if creator is for you. Okay, so do they have built-in moderation function that we can use? Yes, they do. They do. I mean, really, you just have to be on top of things. That's one of the biggest things I always say is like, you can't just set it and forget it with your social media. Don't just schedule your posts out and then come back to it a week later and deal with all your comments. The best way to get social media to work for you in business is to really stay on top of it. It takes a lot of time, and that's just how it is. And it will work for you when you put the time into it. But your concern about trolls and bots, that's a legitimate concern, but you really do have to be like, okay, I'm going to do this once a day or twice a day. I'm going to go through it and be like, block, block, block. I have to do it on my personal account. And I am just cutthroat with it. And that's what you have to do.
I don't see any more in the chat, but if folks do have questions, as I'm saying, let's see. I don't know if you see, I think it's Carl.
Yes, I do. I agree. So here is my high level piece of advice. Just create content all day and store it on your phone. If you see a photo, take a photo, take video throughout the day. We have a reel on our Vision Advertising page that is literally about that we didn't create that reel or shoot that video that day. There's no rule in social media that says the video you post that day had to be taken that day. Just create, find the content throughout the day and store it on your phone. I really recommend you start creating folders, invest in Dropbox or some other cloud place to back everything up and organize everything into folders there. But just start shooting video throughout the day so that you have it. And then when you have, 10 minutes to yourself at the end of the day and you're drinking a glass of wine or a glass of whiskey or whatever your poison is, you can sit down and be like, oh, I can think now. I already have the content. Let me do this.
Awesome. Oh, let's see. Carl asked, what are you using to edit the videos?
I don't know, Katrina, what are you using to edit the videos? I love that you think I'm editing the videos.
I will say I allowed Katrina, you should be able to unmute yourself if you are able to, and if you're on.
Katrina's horrified. You there?
Katrina.
She's like, no, I don't want to answer. So just, I do not create the videos on our page, but thank you for thinking I do. Katrina does all of that. I do this. I talk for a living. But she edits the videos. She shoots the videos for Vision Advertising. She creates the reels. Her reels are really impressive. Mine are like kindergarten level reels. If you go to my page, this is like kindergarten baby level reels. The reels on our Vision Advertising page are like much more advanced. She does a really incredible job with those. I know that she takes a lot of the videos on her phone. I don't know what she edits with, but I'm sure that she can fill us in when she's off the phone. I believe she's on a client call at the moment. So that is the best answer I can give you.
Awesome. These have been great questions. I don't know if folks have more. I am gonna re-put the link to the next session. So if you haven't registered, please make sure you do that. We did record today's session. And I know sometimes on these webinars, it's a lot of information. So you can totally like go back, refer back to it. And we'll be digging deeper into the next one. And we'll be sending out the slides. So hopefully you didn't try and take all the notes. But thank you so much it would be nice to see a face, not just like a voice in the cloud. I always forget. So thank you so much to Julia. This was amazing as always. And I'm excited to like dig deeper into the next session because I'm like learning alongside all of you. I manage CWE's social media, but there's just like, as Julia said, things are constantly changing and like, I do what I do in my like comfort zone. I'm like, I gotta get out of that. So
it's hard. There's so much to do. That's why I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with reels. Katrina, teach me what to do with reels. But I think here's the big thing for everybody. It's like, it's social media. It's throw it against the wall and see what sticks. Like, it's silly. It's supposed to be fun. That's the great thing with reels is like, they're supposed to be fun, which is why I did the dog video one. Like, see what fits within your brand. And if it doesn't work, that's why the insights are so great. Try something else. So
exactly. Awesome. And thank you so much for everyone hanging out with us. And hopefully we'll see you back at the next one. But thank you all. So goodbye.
bye.